If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a very big surprise. Hello YouTube, it's me, Ben Almaden, and welcome to this edition of Entertainment Zone, where I will be reviewing The Cabin in the Woods. Okay, so what is the movie about? Well, if you haven't seen it, I'm afraid I'm not going to tell you. I'll give you that teenagers go to stay in a cabin in the woods and things start going horribly, horrifically wrong. But that's all I'm going to tell you. Now, I didn't know too much about this film going into it. You know, I knew the director, I knew Joss Whedon was producing. I knew the title, and I'd seen the poster. I hadn't even watched any trailers, I don't think, no. I went into it not knowing much, and you know, the reviews I'd read for the movie had all kind of said you're best going into it not knowing too much, and we're not going to tell you much about it. And I thought, how are you meant to review a film and give us and make us want to see it or not want to see it if you're not even going to tell us what it's about? But honestly, they are all completely right. The critics that said that, they are right. You should go into this knowing as little as possible, because it makes for a much more, I don't know, a much more enjoyable viewing experience. I don't know. How did I feel about the movie coming out after the film? And you know, I thought it was, I don't know. It's really strange. I don't know if the movie is completely genius or whether it's totally absurd. Not very often I come out of a movie feeling like that, but that's what it left me feeling. And you know, as I've sat and reflected on it, I've kind of been like, oh, okay, that was a strange movie, but with a smile on my face. So did I enjoy it or not? So it was yeah. I think it's going to divide a lot of people. I think some people will really love it. I think some people will hate it, and I think a lot of people just won't get it. I think a lot of people will be confused about what they were actually aiming for when they made this movie. So, avoiding spoilers, yeah, some of it was a bit predictable, and you know, there was certainly, you know, like Scream back in the 90s, The Cabin in the Woods is definitely acknowledging the horror genre and, you know, the codes, conventions and cliches of it. The characters are all actually really likeable. You know, usually when you have a group of teenagers go down to the woods, you think, oh, okay, whatever, generic teenagers, oh, please don't kill me. But to be honest with you, the cast were completely likeable in it, and Chris Hemsworth was in it too, who played Thor, obviously, but it was shot back in 2009, you know, before he became the big star he is now, but you know, it's only now being released. It's a curious little movie, and I think it will have people talking. I don't know whether it's complete genius or absurd. So I would probably rate it 3 out of 5 stars. I'd have to put it in the middle. Was it scary? There were a few moments that made me jump, but there was also a lot of moments that made me laugh. And there were times when I was thinking, should I be laughing at this? Is this intentional? Were they trying to be funny? And I think the answer to that is yes. I think there are points in the film where it is intentionally trying to be funny. Um, and I don't know. It's very much a comment on the horror genre. Uh, so you horror aficionados out there should probably go and check it out because you are the people who are going to have the strongest opinions on this movie. So I'm going to go into a bit of spoiler talk now. So if you haven't seen the movie, honestly, stop watching it. Go into it not knowing anything. It's the best way. It's the best way. But if you have seen the movie, carry on watching. Listen to what I have to say, and let me know in the comments if you agree with it or not. Okay, so spoiler warning. Okay, you've been warned. So if you're still watching, you're going to get spoiled if you haven't seen the movie. So you know the movie's obviously the teens going down to the woods and things something's going to go wrong, and then there's all this stuff in the office, in this big building, people watching them in a very Big Brother-esque kind of way, and you're thinking, what on earth, what? And you're thinking, oh, is this just one big kind of reality TV show like the Truman Show or something? And yeah, you're just thinking, how is this all gonna tie together in the end? Or is it just gonna be something kind of hostile, like, I suppose? The deaths in it were okay. Some of them were pretty funny, actually. And I was thinking, gosh, what genre would this film, obviously it's horror, but what subgenre of horror would this film be defined as? Prominently, yeah, it's going to probably be a zombie movie. When the zombies came, I was just like, oh gosh, oh, it was funny. It was funny. But then obviously there's more twists and turns where everything isn't as it seems, and it isn't just zombies, and we learn the truth about what's going on, about that there's sacrifices being made, across the globe, and this is America's, and they need to sacrifice these specific type of people, these specific type of young people to these evil gods under their facility, and then we see that they had a choice of what evil would have attacked them. They ended up with the zombies, and then there was all the other stuff there. A lot of references to horror films like It, with the clown. There was a big massive snake in there. I think it mentioned the evil molesting trees as a reference to Evil Dead. All sorts in there. The guy with the saws in his head holding that little thing really kind of reminded me of Pinhead a bit. And there's all these different monsters, and obviously the nod to The Ring with what was going on in Japan. So yeah, it changed so much in like the last 20 minutes or half hour, whatever. And even with the zombies there, it changed from intense zombie horror to people laughing about it in the viewing station facilities. And you're thinking, oh my god, is this a horror, or is it kind of like a satire? It changes tone and mood very quickly, and you think, okay. So yeah, all the way through it was left me thinking, what subgenre of horror would this be defined as? And I think, and this is what I want to know, how your take on the movie was. I think it was kind of like a satire, and it was self-aware, and it was very much commenting on where horror is at now. I think the last time we had that, as I mentioned earlier, was with Scream, and now The Cabin in the Woods is kind of updating it a bit more, taking your typical teens go down to the woods slasher movie and turning it on its head, making it a zombie movie, and then bringing in every other elements of horror films, every bit of horror you can imagine, ghosts, giant monsters, zombies, demons. They're all in there. Everything's in there. And, it's making light of the cliches of horror. And, it's pointing out what has become cliche and what works. And I guess, really, if we view it as a satire and a celebration of the genre, it makes me appreciate it more. And I think if that is really what they were going for, then yes, then it works. If it was going just to be a horror or even a campy horror, then I would be like, huh? I don't think it would work. But I think satire is kind of like what they were going for. And people like Joss Whedon and the director as well, he's worked on shows like Lost and stuff, so he's used to taking things and turning them on the heads, and so I think there is a lot of a more deeper meaning to it, and I think that really is the case with this movie. But I was pretty impressed, I must say. I was pretty impressed. For what it was, I should say. I'm saying I'm pretty impressed, but it left me feeling confused whether I liked it or not. Now I'm sat talking about it, I'm thinking, actually, I think I do like this movie a lot more than I thought I did. And it's going to be really interesting to debate with other film fans and specifically horror fans. So I want to hear from you horror fans. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments. Let's get a discussion going on this. Could be really, really good. Also, before I go, I should point out, great cameo. I've stayed clear of IMDb and stuff for this movie, so I had no idea that the Sigourney Weaver cameo was coming up. And when she came, I was like, "Hey, brilliant!" I loved it. Sigourney's great. I love her. Great actress, great person, and so seeing her in the film was just, yes, good stuff. A very pleasant surprise. So let me know your thoughts on the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you get it? What do you think the directors and producers were trying to say with this movie? I want to know your thoughts, so be sure to leave me a comment. And don't forget, for all the latest movie news and reviews, be sure to subscribe and also to follow our Tumblr if you're on Tumblr, which is www.entertainmentzone.tumblr.com. Even if you don't have Tumblr, check it out because it's updated very, very regularly. So good stuff, folks. As I said, let me know. I'm really eager to hear your thoughts. So take care, and I will speak to you soon.